Hi guys, welcome back into my channel. I hope that this finds you really well and you're having a great week. Whenever this message is with you, it is meant to be with you. For those of you who are new, I'm Meg and I'm a mindfulness coach and healer along with a creative director, and I share wisdom and hope for those on a self-worth healing journey as I've worked hard day in, day out now for many, many years to heal my own heart and soul, to evolve into the person that I truly feel I'm meant to be. In today's video, I wanted to talk about some channeled messages that are coming through for May, and I cannot believe we're already 6 months into 2025. This is not the way I generally plan or deliver messages in my content, but I felt really strongly that I needed to share right now, and I wanted to just sort of speak the truth of what was coming through for me in my meditation. The first thing that has been ruminating for May is I got an image of a snail, and I think it has been top of mind. I've found these land snail shells on the beach as I've been walking each morning, and it is almost felt like somebody was strategically placing them for me to find and pick up. I know those of you that are very aware of synchronicities and signs that are around us all the time, I really felt like it was a message for me, and so I wanted to see what they represent. And snails are known for their perseverance. Of course, you know, everyone, the joke is the snail is so slow, but really, if you look at it in terms of our spiritual development, it's persevering and being patient, and also really taking measurable action towards your progress that you're making. And snails are also really known to represent being resourceful. They have essentially a home that they carry on their back, which is this beautiful shell, and they can choose to interact with the inner world of their own light and being, or they can enter out of the shell into the external world of all of the wonderment that God has created. And as an analogy for us, I just felt like this was something great for us all to think about in May. What is it that you've been really methodically working towards? And if it's a dream or a goal or even a tangible art project I'm seeing, there's a reason why it's taken a long time. And I know, are no stranger to the notion of divine timing, but I just think that there's a reason why we're on this path as humans having a spiritual experience. And the snail to me felt like just a really good reminder for us all that we are making progress and you are walking your path in the way that you're meant to. We've all been thrown off course, so to speak, and maybe there's been a few detours, but I think those detours are precisely the nuggets of wisdom and those gems that really are the tools that we put into our toolbox that we then carry forward. They usually are represented by challenges and, you know, I guess struggles or hardship even. And there's a reason that we withstand these experiences as humans, because it only cracks us open. It cracks our heart open, and it cracks our whole being open to newness and to a version of ourselves that we've never been in before because we haven't had those experiences. But what I do think is really cool, going back to the snail, is the shell is really thin and yet it's very protective. And so, what is the veil or sort of the protective barrier that you have over you that you're carrying around? And energetically, when you're interacting with people, or maybe you're out there dating, or you're collaborating with new clients, or even at work, how can you still exhibit a little vulnerability? Because really, vulnerability is strength, to come out of the shell and to face our fears and to really dive into the things that matter the most, but we might be scared of failure or that we're not taking the right steps. And I think we want the shell, so to speak, or we want our own armor to be sort of light and airy and not like a brick wall. We want to be emotionally available to the people and the communities that we feel passionate about, that really lift us up, and the things that we consider sacred in our lives. But we also need protection, and we all know, and I'm sure all of you are very emotionally aware of, manipulation, or feeling like you are wed to certain relationships or friendships, or even family members that might drag you down, or the energy just doesn't feel aligned, but there's some kind of obligation. And what I would challenge you with is to think of the ways that you can sort of make your shell the most efficient as possible, and sort of riding that line, and sometimes maybe speaking our truth, not with a harsh tongue, of course, but more with an open heart. And we can give feedback, and we can be open. And also, on that same note, we can also be quiet and be silent, and we can just allow, and refuse the idea of violence or anger or fighting or controversy, or even controversial conversations. Sometimes there's not a need to say the last word or to prove yourself to anybody. But I really loved this notion of the snail, and I just am the first message that I'm leaving you with, which has been a long one because it's the most important, is to keep going and keep believing in these steps that you're taking, and just trust that if you have what you think or maybe you fear might have been veering off of where your path is, just know that it's not you veering off your path. It's actually like meant that you're supposed to go down that road, and there will be a reason that becomes very clear. The second message is really around Taurus season and grounding and earthing and nature. And I know that probably many of you love to be in nature, whether you exercise or take walks, or, just looking at nature and sort of, gardening or whatever it is. The more that we can be in the sunlight, and of course, be responsible and wear sunscreen and put a hat on if you're going to be there for a long period of time. But it's important that we experience, and this is what I was getting, we have to really envelop ourselves in the elements. We are nature. We are connected to God and everything else. It's all interconnected with the plants and the trees and the snails and other humans and everything that has been created on this beautiful earth. And the more that we can sink our toes into the sand or on the ground or in a field or grass, or sitting somewhere where the frequency is so high vibration, next to a mountain, or just a sweeping view of this most majestic canyon. I mean, we have access to such beauty all around us. And what that nature does, it not only grounds us, but it also reminds us of the higher power and wisdom, not only within ourselves, but that exists on such a mass level. And for me, and I'm sure I imagine it's similar for you, that expansive view, it's almost like an aerial view, being so far up in the sky and looking down at Earth and just seeing, the colors of what we would look like from above, almost like from an airplane. And the universe and this electromagnetic field that all of nature is a part of, is connected, is able to access unlimited energy of fill in the blank, of abundance, of, happiness and joy and, whatever it is that you are hoping to cultivate in your own life, it is out there for you. And the more that you can sort of take a little bit of a higher view, just an aerial shot of your own life, and sort of seeing the bigger picture, so to speak, of what you would like to represent, it offers us this opportunity to really be much more granular about how we're spending our time and energy. And the nature kind of brings us back to our purpose. So, what is it that your purpose is right now? And try to keep it a little bit succinct, right? Like one or two things that you're really trying to hone in on, and how are you able to sort of let this nature and the sun kind of fuel you and drive you and sort of, I just see this image of like enveloping you, almost like, a big hug around you of just the earth. And I think when we remember that we're part of something that's so much larger than just ourselves, it really helps to expand our mind into knowing that everything that we want is available to us. And the more that we believe that and we start to bring and raise our frequency up to that, the sooner things start to just flow. The third and final message that came through, that's continuously come through, is around our kindness and compassion, both the self-love and self-worth that we feel towards our own beautiful selves, and then also the way that we operate in the world with others. We as a collective are responsible for being kind and lifting one another up. And I know it sounds really simple, but there's a lot happening out there right now, and I think there's an unhinged energy where people are uncertain how to channel, wherever they've had maybe a misstep, or they haven't been able to process emotions, or maybe they've gone through some trauma or turmoil, and just things even snowballing since the pandemic the last 5 years. But I think that it's a very fear-based time, and there's a weird cloud and fog that's sort of all around in certain ways. And I think it's up to us to not participate in that rhetoric and that narrative, and to just continue to foster your own mindful practices, whatever you do for self-care. And I use the word self-care really because that's what it is. It's taking good care of yourself. And I mean like eating clean and drinking water and getting enough sleep so that you can operate at your best and highest frequency. Doing the things that you need to do in order to feel like you can rise up, because I think there is a call to action for those of us on the spiritual path and us healers to really help lift the fog and to bring more sunlight and sunshine through the love and kindness that we can instill upon others. It doesn't cost us anything. It's free, and it changes everything. I mean, think about it. If you just bought groceries for the person behind you that only had a few items, think of how much joy that would bring to someone, because number one, it's unexpected, and two, it's just such a nice random act of kindness. I actually really kind of want to do that now, so maybe I will, but it's those like ways that we can just be nice to one another. So just think of ways that you can love yourself and take more gentle care of yourself, and also those in your circles. I feel that relationships in all forms of our life right now, they're much more prominent. I know for me personally, I really feel like my tribe of people, I'm really working to cultivate and be with those people and interact and love and share and just appreciate and have gratitude for all of that love that they're always showering on me, and in turn trying to be my most optimal self so that I can give so much, because we know that quality far outweighs quantity. And I think that goes, as a collective with the way that we can tip the scales with kindness. And we can do these little things. All you have to do is smile at a stranger, or compliment somebody. It doesn't really require too much other than just being heartfelt. And I'm not saying that, you go around and just throwing all these compliments to everybody, but there's a time and a place. If you're admiring somebody's like beautiful like outfit, I mean, why not just tell them? I think that there's just an opportunity here on this topic of kindness and compassion to just be really raw and human. And it's something that I think we've had to get away from. But with that said, be mindful of who you're offering that kindness and compassion to, and I think just be mindful. Okay, so those are the messages that really resonated and felt like I needed to share. And I hope that maybe there was something in this video that helped you or sparked an interest, or maybe just an inspiration of a way that you could look at something a little bit differently on how you're reflecting on your daily life. But I love you guys. I'm wishing you the best week ahead, and I will be back soon for another video. And as always, please feel free to share this video, to like, and, write a comment, anything. It really helps the channel to grow, and I am committed to that. Okay, take care.